Hello and welcome to Beyond the Lights, Football Across Texas, where we're talking football in towns with head coaches across the state. I'm your host, Brandon Brown, retired football coach and AD, and I'm glad you could join us today at this week's stop in the Lone Star State as we meet one more coach and one more town that make up the world of Texas high school football.
Favorite run play, I like ISO.
Power. You got to run the power.
Run the picket fence.
So I was hung up at the crow's nest.
My grandfather was the first African-American running back to be All-State.
I was 19 right about the time and went to a church revival and got saved. And that path changed my life. It's about going in there and changing lives.
Mudita, which is finding joy or happiness in others' success.
Now, I got a funny story on this.
Oh, those guys grew up on beans and cornbread. And, I grew up on McDonald's and bologna sandwiches, a little better deal.
Yeah.
I'd like to play the flute, Dad.
It ain't all right either. You're editing, but go ahead.
So if I tell you too much more, I have to kill you?
Hello and welcome to episode 59. I'm in New Braunfels High School today, home of the Unicorns, and I'm with head football coach and boys coordinator Brad Mulder. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing good. Well, I appreciate you taking time to visit with me. I know there is no non-busy time of the year anymore, but I appreciate you taking the time.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, first tell me about you're dropping down, aren't you?
Going down to Division 2-5A, yes, sir.
Okay, so what's that going to do for you? How does that, with the district you're winding up in, how does that compare?
We went from a really competitive district in 5A Division 1 for the last 2 years to a really competitive district in 5A Division 2.
Okay.
We looked at the district and looked at all the districts across the state in Division 2, and we feel like there may be 1-2 others that are as competitive as our league. So it's going to be a dogfight for sure.
So is it just the area? Is this just area down here really competitive in those levels too?
It is. Now we're going to be in with Bernie High School, Alamo Heights. They pulled both Liberty Hill schools, Liberty Hill High, and then their new school, Legacy Ranch, is coming with us. And then we've got Judson Veterans out in Judson ISD. So it's going to be a tough 7-team district. There's no doubt. Plus our sister school, Long Creek, that just opened, they're going to open 5A Division 2 as well, so they're going to be in the same district with us.
Okay, so and that's what brought down some of your enrollment, wasn't
Yes,
it, was
sir.
the opening of that new one?
Yes,
okay.
sir. It's I kind of see us probably staying Division 2 for quite a while, but the way the enrollment trends are going right now with our junior high feeder program and the numbers they have down there, it looks like we'll probably be at that Division 2 level for quite a while now.
So you're not looking at it just licking your chops going, oh, this is a cakewalk now that we're coming down.
Not at all. Not at all. It's going to be a battle now, getting out of finding a way to get in the playoffs. If you can find a way in, then you got a pretty decent road to get to the third or fourth round, after you get out of the district. So
okay.
It's just about, winning those games that you need to win and hopefully putting yourself in a position to get in the playoffs and hopefully compete for a district championship. And then once the playoffs start, see what happens.
Yeah. Well, now, okay, y'all been really good the last couple of years. I mean, 11-3 last year, 9-4 the year before. I was trying to look it up. When was the last time that New Braunfels even played 14 games?
The last 2 years were the best 2 seasons we've had since 2009. In 2009, They went to the semifinals.
Okay.
So it's the best 2 years in the last 15, 16 years.
Okay, yeah, I was just following back on Max Preps, looking at some stuff, and you've done a great job with them, so congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Kids did a great job, and I'm blessed with an absolutely phenomenal coaching staff that around me that as the head coach, you always get way too much credit. You always get way too much criticism. But those guys are the guys that do the work, and we got some really good kids on our campus.
Did you bring a lot of those guys in with you? Or
4 of them now that I worked with when I was AD and head coach in Lavernia have come with me. So one of them I'd worked with a long time ago at Judson High School. And then he stayed there, and I made some moves. I was at Church Clemens for a little while. And then ultimately became the AD head coach in Lavernia, and then he came with me from Judson at that time, and then hired my DC from Gonzales, which was near Lavernia at that time. And those guys came back with me when I got this job, and then 2 of the assistants that I had on that staff are also here now.
Okay. Oh, well, that's good. That says a lot about you if they're willing to move with you around.
I said that at our football banquet this past Monday night, that how honored I am that they would choose to move with me, because moving around isn't easy. It takes a lot, and I was honored that they were willing to follow me here.
Yeah. No, well, that's great. Okay, so all right. We always start with kind of telling us a little about yourself, where you grew up, what got you into football, and what brought you to this point.
Gotcha. Ultimately, I was born in the Rio Grande Valley, lived in La Feria, Texas, which is about 8 miles south of Harlingen. Parents both lived there their whole lives, and then 6 weeks into my freshman year, my dad got a job in Kerrville, and we moved to Kerrville my freshman year, and that's where I graduated high school, met my wife. We had 6-period English together. That's where we met. But played football at Kerrville. Went to Sam Houston State and played for a little bit, and then transferred back to Southwest Texas to finish up my degree. Been around. We've been in this area, obviously since I guess 1989 was when we moved up here to Kerrville. So we've been in this area for a long time. My wife and I have been married for 28 years now, and have 3 kids, 2 grandkids, and a wonderful daughter-in-law. So. Doing well. And to answer your question, I became a coach. I had coaches in high school that played a big role in my life, and helped develop me into kind of the man I am today, and held me accountable when I didn't make good decisions and praised me when I did. So I just wanted to be able to give back. Honestly, to be transparent, I went to my first semester in college, I went to be an accountant.
Okay.
And that changed quickly after that first semester. And then I started picturing myself having to wear a shirt and tie and sit at a desk for 8 hours a day. And that just wasn't what I wanted to do. So after one semester, I flipped it and started to get into education. And
now,
here we are.
Why education?
At that point, I started thinking I wanted to give back. Athletics, school and sports had a great impact on my life. And just wanted to be able to give it back, pay it forward, and provide the same kind of things that I was provided to kids. And I love being around kids. I feel like I have 180 children, because we play a big role in their lives. We're coaches, we're counselors, we're psychologists, we're trainers, we wear a bunch of different hats with these kids, father figures. So I mean, it's just a blessing to me. And I don't think I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
Well, and I was curious what made it back to education, because I was the same way. I was like you. I was a chemical engineering major, and but then I was watching my older brother coach in Kingwood when I was at A&M, and I'd go watch him coach, and that's what I said. I said, this looks like a lot more fun than being in a lab.
Heck yes. I don't blame you, not at all.
But I wasn't playing college sports, so it was something else that brought me back to it. But okay, so we already talked kind of about what you thought about your new district and everything else. Let's go to the portal for a second, because I like kind of getting info on how that trickle-down effect of the portal, what kind of effect has that had on high school and recruiting from high school with y'all?
It's made it 1,000 times more difficult for a high school kid at this point. It went from where colleges were signing 80 to 85 kids from high school back in the day, and that's how they filled their rosters, and it's not that way. We still have recruiters come through. It doesn't seem to be as many. It's more of Division II, Division III schools. We see some Division I, but I don't see here in New Braunfels that as many as we used to. But they're taking 17 to 20 high schoolers now. Everything else is coming from JUCO or the portal. So it's come to the point where you, as a high school player, have to be the absolute cream of the crop. You have to be the top of the list in order to be recruited out and get that scholarship out of high school. And now everybody's taking that opportunity. Now they're going to start at a lower level school and then start transferring their way, trying to work their way up the ladder, which it works for some people. It's just, I have no idea how those college coaches, you're rebuilding a roster every single year.
Yeah.
There was a big push, 8-10 years ago, I guess, when Coach Saban started at Alabama. That's all about the culture that you make on your campus and the culture of your program. And now it's really hard to keep those things in college because you got a new crop of 80 guys coming in every year. So it has definitely trickled down. It's a lot harder. For instance, we had a safety this year that I thought was a FCS level player. And ultimately he did sign FCS, but it was few and far between just because they were already full from transfers and JUCO, and especially now that And I heard there's some change coming maybe, but in JUCO not, it doesn't penalize you and don't lose that eligibility, and you can go play for 2 years and then get re-recruited. So, I mean, I've heard that may change, but I don't know, for a fact. But it's definitely trickled down. We still see some guys come through here, but I feel like it's not as much as it used to be.
So it was always a big deal, that relationship between the college coaches and the high school coaches. So is that probably going to kind of start changing and maybe won't be as strong as it used to be?
I haven't seen that in the ones that come through here.
Yeah. That's
the
good.
most. So I mean, it's a good relationship. We text back and forth, and if I ever have a question, especially like X's and O's or whatever the case may be, they're always willing to help. So I mean, the relationship I think is still good. I just think it's gone from, especially here when I first got here, Texas and Texas Tech and those guys were coming through often.
Yeah.
And now it's more Division II, Division III than anything else.
Okay. Well, that's good info. I was kind of curious.
And maybe because we don't have enough players that they feel like to play for them, which is fine too, but don't see them quite as often.
Okay, well, one of the big things I wanted to talk to you about today is how you – because, I mean, everybody's in off-season right now. So how do you set up your off-season? And kind of to give you an example, what I'm talking about is I'd always phased mine as I had phases. The first couple months were strength phase. The next couple months were speed when it got to track season. How do you set up your off-season to try to accomplish what you want to during that time period?
When we come back from Christmas, we'll have a week, maybe two, of just some general conditioning because we're coming off a 2-week Christmas break. But the first major thing we do is a character development phase. It's a week long. We call it the classroom. It's stuff that I got from D.W. Rutledge way back at Judson, back in the day. I spent 2 years with him, and then I got to spend the next 10 with Coach Rackley there. So that was a huge part, and it's kind of the foundation of the program. So we'll spend a week in the classroom going over character development, trying to create the right mindset in our guys, and then after that it's boot camp, and we're hoping that they transfer some of those mental things that they learned into the boot camp to get through it. So that's really the first phase is our boot camp. That's kind of the foundation of our program, classroom and boot camp.
So tell me about the boot camp. What is it? What makes it a boot camp?
So we go through 3 stations. There's a station of mat drills, there's a station of jump ropes, and there's a station of command weights. In each station there's rules and regulations that go with each, and there's penalties if you don't do something right. So the goal, boot camp starts as about a 15 minutes at each station. We've got 3 groups that rotate through, and ultimately they have to get out of it. They have to be able to execute each drill. In command weights there's 10 drills, in the jump ropes there's 6 drills, and the mat drills there's 6, but they do them both ways down the mat. So they've got to execute every drill, get it done, and get it done in the time frame that we get. We start at 15 minutes. When we get to week 2, it goes down to 14 minutes. So you have to be able to eliminate those mistakes. And the whole point is push them to the limit where they feel like they can't go anymore. They have nothing left in the tank. And then ultimately they make the tough choice to push through because their teammate needs them to, not because they need themselves to. So it comes down to them being able to come out of their shell and do more for their teammate than it is about doing for them. So they've got to execute all those. Every station has penalties. If they mess up in the jump ropes, they got extra time they got to do as the penalty, or push-ups in the command weights. If they mess up, they got to jump on their face and do push-ups. Mat drills, they got to go back and repeat the drill over and over until they get it right. So that all costs you time. Yeah. So they've got to be able to eliminate those mistakes. And then if they do make them, we tell them that you got to make up for it with effort in order to make up that time. So, and it's a deal where, once we get to the end of that second week, we go meet as coaches. When the kids are in the mat room, we go meet with the coaches, and everybody gives a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If we get a thumbs down, we got to go another day, and we keep doing that until ultimately we feel like we had our best day.
Okay, cool. So that's so you got 2 weeks of general conditioning, get them back at it, and then you got 2 weeks.
A week of classroom and then 2 weeks of boot camp. So that takes you into February usually. And then after February, it's all speed and strength up until spring break. We'll probably get a max in right before spring break to kind of see where we're at. We get one max after the season's over with. come back, general conditioning, classroom, boot camp, and then we're in weights and running.
So you're using that max after football season for percentage
from our
stuff
percentage
and everything
stuff
else.
after Christmas,
Okay.
and then we'll get a new set of numbers right before spring break that'll fuel our numbers for after spring break. But then once after we get to after spring break, we start to build towards skills. We don't do a padded spring ball. We feel like we have that, like the extra week you get in August as opposed to doing spring ball. So, after spring break comes in, we'll be lifting and running, continue to get bigger, faster, stronger, but we'll start mixing in some football skills. And then ultimately, once we get to late April, we'll have about a 5-week stretch where we're going to lift and run before school. And during the athletic period, it's straight football. I'll hand them each kid will get a soft shell helmet and a mouthpiece and a practice jersey, and we go get after it, close to the way it is when you have pads on, as close as you can get, and get our offense and defense and special teams installed for that 5-week stretch, and then, then we're into summer.
Now, when you're working your speed and strength phase, right there before spring break and that kind of thing, do you have the same things, or do you have the speed and the strength on the same days, or do you break it up by days?
We do it on the same days. We break our guys into 2 groups. We'll have a big group and a skill group, split them in half. And I don't necessarily like doing it that way. I'd rather all our kids work together. But in the construction that we're in and the facilities that we're in currently, we can't fit everybody in the weight room together. But we'll do some station work, so everybody will lift. But then some days we'll do some speed days, and some days we'll do conditioning. Right now, like our skill guys will go out and run the track workout. Whatever the track workout is of that day, they go out and run it. The big boys, they don't need so much to run 400, so they're going to get some more change of direction and more we try to tailor the running to functionality onto the football field. And anything that's going to make us faster, no matter what position we play, the better off we're going to be. So
I never liked it when they'd say, "Yeah, we're all going to go run a mile." Well, what? I don't want my 250-pound lineman running a mile. His poor feet and ankles
that's
are going
right.
to give it.
No doubt. No, so we try to tailor it, and we'll even make it when we get the big boys out there. We'll kind of tailor it position specific, where we get D line's going to go over here, and O line's going to go over here, and linebackers are going to go over there, and we try to tailor that to make it functional to them, when stuff that'll transfer onto the field.
Yeah. Now, how many times a year do you max?
Typically 3 in the spring. We'll get 1 right after the season. We'll get 1 midway through the spring, and then another one right before we go to summer, so they get a fresh set of numbers for summer workouts.
Okay.
So typically about 3.
Now, what are your core lifts that you max on?
Bench, incline, power clean, and squat. The big 4.
Okay. All right, so you do a full power clean, not a hang clean?
Full power clean.
All right, I like to hear that, because a lot of people don't do that anymore. A lot of them do the hang clean instead of the power clean.
When I was in high school in the 90s, we did hang clean and we did 3/4 squats. We didn't even do a parallel squat back then. So when I got to college, I was playing football at Sam Houston. That's the first time I'd ever done a power clean. So, no, we're from the floor and we're parallel squatting. So.
Okay, so tell me incline. A lot of people don't do incline. What is it you like about incline?
Shoot, there was a time that there was a time back, I don't know, 20 years ago, there were some people that got rid of their bench press because the angle of the incline was the angle that everybody was blocking at. So everybody said incline's it, and bench, you're never standing straight up, and bench, so bench went away. Now bench is coming back. We don't, our biggest maxes are the bench press, the squat, and the power clean. Now we do max on incline, but that's just to get them some numbers. That is, like right now in our normal off season, we're going to get parallel squat twice a week minimum with some variations, some front squats, some step, other things. We're going to get bench press a minimum of twice a week, and then a variation, a dumbbell bench or a close grip bench or something. Yeah. And we're probably going to get incline about once a week. So it's not as important to us as the other 2. And then the other things that we test on are outside. We'll test on the 40-yard dash, and we'll test on the pro agility, the shuttle, the 5-10-5 shuttle. So those incline is a part of it. It's more to get numbers, but we typically will do a variation, a dumbbell incline, something like that, just to keep that as part of it for that upper chest and shoulders.
Did you ever do L drill?
We did.
Okay, I liked that one. I had never seen it until 15 years ago. Somebody showed that to me, and so we started putting that in there with that 5-10-5 shuttle. Mm-hmm. I really liked that one.
We haven't tested it and timed it, but we do it a lot. I mean, once we get like I said, after spring break, when we start transitioning to that skill phase, we'll start doing some agility stations, and one of those stations is the L drill for sure.
That's what we did too, and I really like that L drill combined with that 5-10-5.
Heck yeah, no, it's a good, all that's good change of direction and burst, getting out of breaks. It's all good.
Good deal. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsor, and that is Coach Randy Jackson.
If you're training your athletes for strength, speed, and technique, you're just keeping up with everyone else. The real edge today is in mental performance. My name is Randy Jackson, and with 33 years of experience, I understand the messaging athletes need, both in season and off season. This is why I created the Blueprint, a plug-and-play system where I serve as your team's virtual mental performance coach. Unlike traditional character programs, the Blueprint delivers mental training that empowers your athletes to think sharper and perform better. Every Division I and pro team trains the mental game. Let me be that coach for your team and give your athletes the competitive edge they need. Join the Blueprint family and help us develop the next generation of mentally tough athletes. Learn more about the Blueprint on CoachRandyJackson.com or call or text me at 214-471-0070.
Okay, well, that was all. I'd kind of changed the questions up this week because I'd been doing a lot of them with the same questions for like a year. So I thought people were probably tired of hearing some of those things. So I kind of went off into some other things. So on the rapid fire questions now, I moved a couple of one of the questions from the other stuff to that. So tell me two things. One, what's the most unusual situation you've ever encountered as a coach?
It was probably this past year. We had a road trip to Del Rio, and there was problems with our charter buses. We had to stop 3 times on the way down there because they had to refill the water in the radiator. Kept overheating. We got to the game. They dropped us off, and they said they're going to go to the local auto parts store, and they're going to fix whatever the problem was. We came in at halftime. They still weren't back. We came in 9:30 after the game. They still weren't back. So we were getting Whataburger delivered. We were going to have Whataburger on the way home. So we got Whataburger delivered. I let the kids eat. I finally called them. They said, we're almost done. We'll be there 10 minutes. 10 minutes turned to 20. I called, no answer. 20 minutes turned into an hour. It turned into 11:15. I finally got a hold of we're in Del Rio.
Oh.
It's 3 hours.
Yeah.
11:15.
It's a real safe area, though, down there by the border.
Yeah. Luckily, we were tucked back behind the school, but their AD happened to still be there, and he saved our tail, I'll tell you what, because it got to the point where I didn't feel like those guys were coming back. So we got ghosted by the charter company, and we borrowed 3 buses from Del Rio, and they let us borrow 3 buses. We drove ourselves home, got back to Braunfels about 3:30 in the morning. So
oh, man.
Getting ghosted and left by a charter company is probably the most unusual thing that's happened.
That is bad. Golly. It's like I would ask you to say the name of that charter company so nobody uses it, but you probably can't do that.
We will not be using them, that's for sure.
What? Okay, tell me about, and I accidentally cut this one off there, but tell me about some of your most memorable moments you've had as a coach.
Man, I'll go in phases, I guess. I started as a junior high coach in Judson ISD at Woodlake Hills Middle School. To me, that's where all coaches should start coaching. I mean, I feel like you learn to be a coach, not even necessarily the X's and the O's. And back then, all these guys nowadays wear the padded girdle under their pants. They don't have to worry about stuffing,
That was the greatest thing ever
sure they
for
face
junior
the right
high.
way, otherwise you got hurt, and having to weave a belt in and out of hip pads and butt pads, and but it really taught you some patience for sure. I don't know if I could go back and do it now after 26 years, but it did teach me some patience. So super proud. I mean, I think we lost 1 game in the years that I was in junior high, 1 football game, which was a big deal. And then I was at Judson for a long time, and the most memorable, probably the 02 state championship game where we hit a 76-yarder against Midland with 7 seconds left and won a state championship in the Alamo Dome. And then we got to go back to another state championship in 05 and 07, which was huge. 2015, I coached Frank Harris. Frank Harris was the quarterback at UTSA forever, and just found out he got inducted to the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame, that he'll get inducted in August. Cool. We had all kinds of we shattered all kinds of records at Clemens for offensive production that year, his junior year. Yards per game, yards total. I mean, we broke a lot. Now that's, you take that with a grain of salt. Our defense was not the greatest back then, so our offense was on the field all 4 quarters. So they, we didn't have the luxury of taking them out at halftime. But that 2015 run, we ultimately lost in the regional finals in the 4th round, the Alamo Dome. And then, then I'd have to say my 2 years at Livonia were really good. We went 9-3, 10-3, back-to-back years there, and then. Second year there, we beat Bernie in the 2nd round, which was a huge deal because Bernie went to the finals the year before and they were picked to go back again, and we upset them in the 2nd round. And then first year here, 9-4, played, got beat in the 3rd round to the ultimate state champion in Smithson Valley, and then this year 11-3, and they beat us again in the 4th round. So we've lost 7 games in 2 years, and 4 of them are to the defending 5A Division I state champs. So because we were in the same district with them as well. So. Those state championship years, and then my last 4 as a head coach have been really special too.
Yeah. Tell me what here in New Braunfels, what kind of kids do you have here? I mean, I don't know much. I've never had to play them in anything. Is this a kind of a blue collar town? Or?
Very much so. That's
okay.
one of the things that this is somewhere we've always wanted to live. When this job came open in 2014, I applied and didn't get it. We've lived in the Schertz-Cibolo area forever and ever and ever, but this is always a place we wanted to live. But that was one of the things that drew me to New Braunfels was the type of kid they had. Very much blue collar, very much not always the biggest and fastest and strongest guys, but just competitors and physical, good competitive spirit, hardest working dudes on the field, and that's the type of kid that we have still, and that's one of the big things that drew me to this job.
Okay. I was kind of curious because it's one of those towns I've never played.
Sure.
Places I coached were smaller.
I just think it's like a lunch pail town. I mean, they're going to bring their lunch pail, and they're going to put the hard hat on. They're going to go to work, and they're not afraid to work. So that's a good thing.
Good. Okay. Tell me what's favorite pass route?
Smash.
Okay. The Tony Franklin, the old
Tony
concept.
Franklin, old Tony Franklin smash. So, the 7-yard stop route, or you can whip that route in the corner over the top of it. That's always been my favorite.
All right. Favorite run play?
Power, old school.
Oh yes.
FG power.
Now, what offensively? What do you run here? You spread?
No, well, yes and no. I mean, we're moving towards last year. We're more 21 personnel, so we're 2 backs and a tight end, and. We're going to be physical and run the football, and then we're going to, play action and throw the ball around a little bit. But everything stems on offensive line play and the run game.
Okay, so when you talk about running power, you are talking about more the traditional way.
Block it down, kick it out, wrap the guard around. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
so that's something I've done. I was a play caller way back at Judson, and we were under center still back then. And then that transitioned to my time at my 10 years at Clemens High School in Schertz, and we were very much the same way. Went more gun there, and then we had a more athletic quarterback, varied into the power read game more than traditional power. But we've been back to that in the last couple of years. So it's got some very, very old school tendencies to it.
Yeah, I like power read too. That's a
I
good
do
play.
Too. It's a great play.
Okay, do you have a hair policy with your kids?
Just can't be hanging out of the back of the helmet. As long as it's, when you put your helmet on, as long as it's, under the back collar of the helmet, we're okay.
Okay. Heads or tails on a coin flip?
Tails. Never fails.
Except, are you going to say except this year?
Except this year.
Did you win any?
Honestly, well, we won a few. We won a few. It was weird. Like in our days in Livonia, when I first got the AD head coach job in Livonia, our first season, the first 4 games we played, the opponent scored on their first play from scrimmage in the first 4 games in a row.
Oh, God.
So then I quit, and I said, if we win, we're taking the ball. I don't care, because most people were going to defer anyway, so I won either way. And we've been that way until midway through this year. We got to a point where we went into a late district ball game, and the weather was really bad, and so we deferred and won, so then we kept doing that. But I want to say in 14 games, we probably won 10.
Oh, okay.
9 or 10 of the tosses.
Oh, okay. So tails never fails this year works.
Well, I say we won. We got what we wanted, one way or the other. So tails fails every once in a while, but as long as we get what we want at the end of the day, we're all right.
So you normally you go offense a lot of times first?
I think
depending on weather? Or
I did it to begin this year because we had 8 new faces on defense, starting 3 sophomores. So I wanted to kind of let them get their nerves calm down before they took the field. I think next year we'll probably defer and play defense first.
Okay. Do you give a pregame speech?
I do. It's short. It's right before we walk out of the locker room to take the field, to go to the run through, maybe 2-3 minutes. But it's just kind of I revisit the kind of keys to victory, things that we need to do, and then I revisit some that are every week, no matter what. It's always built around just play with your hair on fire and play to win and don't play to lose. And at the end of the day, they're teenagers and they're going to mess up. But at the end of the day, we're going to love them either way. No matter what the result of the game is, we're going to love them. And to understand that they are going to make mistakes and it's going to be okay. The only time that I've ever kind of got after a kid during a game is because of a lack of effort, not because of a mistake that they made, because they're teenagers. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to screw up. So our job on Friday night, I tell our coaches, we meet pregame as our whole coaching staff before I go get those kids and take them out, and that we're fixers on the sideline. We're not screamers. We're not hollerers. We're encouragers, and we're fixers. And the only time, like I said, we'll get after anybody is if it's a lack of effort.
Good. So that's I like that, because that was one of the things that I remember someone telling me. Unfortunately, it wasn't until I'd been coaching 5 or 6 years, but they told me, don't just yell. Be constructive with what you're yelling. Absolutely. They always said there were 2 things they told me. Be constructive with what you're yelling at them. It needs to tell them something so they learn to listen. And the other thing was give somebody feedback every play.
Every snap of every snap. Now, and we talk about that in our preseason meetings, that when we're in practice, every snap of the football, your position guys need to hear from you.
Yeah,
don't be short
standing
and it's sweet,
at the back,
but we're not there to watch a practice. We are there to coach, and we are there to provide feedback. And either we are something short and sweet that's going to fix what they did wrong, or something short and sweet to praise what they did right. But one way or the other, they got to hear from us so they know that what they're doing is either right or I need to do this to fix it. One of the two.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like that. Do you have a favorite quote you like to use with your kids?
Do your best, don't sweat the rest. I learned that a long time ago from Coach Rutledge, and that's always our theme of the week going into the first game, because it's the first game, everybody's nervous, but just do your best and don't sweat the rest. We're gonna, we'll as long as they are focusing on their best, one play at a time. At the end of the day, we may not win a battle here and there, but we're gonna win the war at the end of the day. So just do your best, don't sweat the rest.
Well, and that goes right into what you were saying before, lack of effort. If you're giving everything you got, but I'll get on to you if there's lack of effort.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to be teachers, but but I don't want to. I tell them the effort is something they bring to the table. I can't coach your effort. You have to bring that. I'll tell you when it's not where it needs to be, but you're ultimately at the end of the day, you got to bring the effort, and it takes absolutely zero talent to be an effort guy. So then that's what we try to bleed into our guys is we may not be the biggest, fastest, and strongest, but we're going to outwork people. We're going to out-hustle people.
Now, tell me this: do y'all give stickers for things for helmets?
We do not.
Okay.
We do not. I've done it both ways. If I am to do it ever again, it will be a team award. It will not be I got 14 tackles, so I get 14
reaching
stickers.
Goals as a team, accomplishing whatever.
I just and I'm kind of old school. I kind of like the clean look of a helmet, and it doesn't get all. And then there's, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. There's merit to it both ways, but that's just my opinion. And we like that clean look of the helmet, and we have goals. We just don't put stickers on our helmet because of them. So.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was just curious.
I got you.
Okay. Music in the weight room?
Yes. Mostly rock. If it depends on which coach has the control of the Bluetooth. It'll go from anywhere from 80s hair bands to the new age stuff, so that I don't know anything about. But I'm an old school 90s rock guy, so sometimes that'll come on. So, but yes, we'll have some music rocking in the weight room.
All right. Varsity. Do y'all have any varsity players in the band?
We do not.
Okay, so you don't even have to worry about that.
I haven't had to do that. The biggest thing we have to worry about is homecoming night. Some of our guys having to be out there during halftime, but I've never had one. But
hopefully you scheduled that game correctly, and it's not a big deal.
Hopefully this year's going to be a little tougher, just because of the way the schedule shook out. But No, if I ever did have a player in the band, they'd go play at halftime. I mean, I encourage kids to do everything that they can at a young age. Just they need to experience everything, and our band is awesome. So if we ever did have a member of it, they'd be out there playing at halftime in their uniform.
All right, good. Okay, so now are you able to platoon your kids for the most part?
For the most part, we're going to have probably 8 or 10 crossover kids that'll play both ways. They'll have a primary position, but they'll contribute on the other side of the ball. If they're a starter on defense, they'll probably play offense 35% or so of the game as well. So we're going to have some two-way players. Are we going to have anybody start on both sides? I don't know yet. We have a possibility of that. But we're going to have 8 or 10 that are going to have to contribute on both sides. Our enrollment's going down. Our numbers are getting a little bit smaller, so we're going to have to use our best guys on both sides.
Okay. What's the favorite facility you have that you like?
Not lucky enough to have ever played in Jerry World yet. Played in the Alamo Dome a few times. It was nice. Honestly, my favorite place to play is at Alamo Stadium in San Antonio, the Rock Pile. I mean, it's been there for ages.
I've heard good things about it. I've never even been there.
The atmosphere is great. Old stone bleachers. It is my absolute favorite place to play.
Okay. All right. Do you have a favorite interview question that you like to ask coaches when you interview them?
Oh, okay. So when I read that prior to, I thought that was somebody asking
being
me.
asked. No, I need to clarify that because you're right. That could be the
one
other way.
that gets asked of me is, "Are y'all going to win?" Well, we never go into a game to lose.
Yeah.
Favorite question I ask a coach when I'm interviewing him.
Like if you're trying to get something out of them that the way they answer. Like I've had some people say, they ask them what their favorite movie is because it tells them a little about them and how they think. And I was just curious.
The main thing I ask coaches is how would coaching your own kid look as compared to if you're coaching somebody else's kid? How are those two things going to be the same or differ? Because I've coached both of my sons, my oldest who's out now and a firefighter, and then my youngest who's a sophomore now. So I do my best to treat them exactly the way that I would treat all the others that are in our program. So I like to see if there's some kind of what their answer to that question is.
Yeah.
And that tells me a little bit about what kind of coach they are.
Okay. No, that's good. Now, where's your son a firefighter?
In Schertz, city of Schertz, right down the road.
Been
there 7 years, I think.
That's what my youngest one does right here in San Marcos.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, he's been doing it for about 7 years, I think, now. So
mine's just he's just now finishing his rookie year, because when he left Angelo State from playing ball there, he got into it and went to a year of fire school, and then he's just now finishing his rookie year.
Nice. So. Yeah, my son's a driver now, so he gets in that big old truck, drives it around town, and we always freak out when we see him in town. My wife climbs out the window and waving at him and whatnot. But no, we're proud of him. He's good. He's got a wonderful wife, 2 kids, so we're blessed with 2 grandkids. And then my middle one's the daughter. She's about to graduate from A&M in May.
Oh,
and that's right. And then our youngest is here. He's a sophomore now. So.
Oh, okay. So you're still getting to coach the youngest.
Oh yeah,
one, huh?
Absolutely.
Ah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I had just written that down on here to ask you about what your kids are doing now.
Gotcha.
So that would cross that one off my deal there. So, okay, so if you could change one rule in football, what would it be?
The cut block on offense. I want to bring it back.
Yes.
That makes it perimeter game is a big part of it. Being able to control people on the perimeter, and I thought. That was one of the first things we ever did in defensive practice was learn how to defend a cut block, And now you can't do it anymore, and there's penalties for it. So I would like to bring that back, but I don't think it'll ever come back, unfortunately.
Yeah, you couldn't run my sprint out scheme the way we did it, the way it is now.
Absolutely not.
I may not even like sprint out the way it is.
Well, see, that's something we've limited the number of times we call it because you can't do that anymore, and it just it's not something we dabble in anymore. So
yeah. Okay, what would you do if you weren't a coach?
That's a good question. Man.
You don't have to worry about it. So
I don't, thank goodness. I don't know what I would do. My wife's she's been in law enforcement for 31 years, but she does real estate for the last 8 or 9, and we've talked about the possibility of when she retires and I retire that we'll start flipping some homes and things like that, but I'm not a good enough carpenter or electrician or plumber to probably do any good with that, so Man, I really don't know what I would be doing my dad was in the car business his whole life. That was all he did. My brothers followed in those footsteps. But so I'd probably be doing something in that line of work if I had to guess.
Okay. What now? Do you have a pro or a college coach that you kind of look up to or model some things after, or not necessarily?
Most recently, Nick Saban and the things that I think his approach to discipline. There's some really, really good things with it. And, there's always some things that they do in college that they do that maybe you can't in the high school realm. But the discipline and the culture part that he brought in, I thought I've learned a lot from listening to him speak. Coach that a lot of people may not know about, but Ronnie Winklerek, he's a coach of the San Antonio team. They're not the Gunslingers now. I forget what the name of them are. It's escaped me now, but
you said Ronnie Winklerek?
Winklerek, Vinklarek. He was the O-line coach at Rice that's when I met him.
Okay.
That was years and years ago. Really positive, spiritual man, great man.
So I need to go interview him at some point.
I would.
All right. I just wrote his name down and started. I'll try to talk to him.
I'll try to get some information. He's on my Facebook, but he's always posting some very good stuff. So, I mean, he's one that I always looked up to, when I was a younger coach.
Okay, cool. All right. You have a favorite pregame song
that I listen to, or
that
just
you personally? But if you don't, then you like hearing before games.
We walk out to AC/DC Hell's Bells, so that's
there you go.
That's my favorite.
AC/DC has a lot of good ones for pregame stuff. Yeah,
really good ones.
You have a favorite football movie?
Probably The Program from way back in the day.
That was intense.
That was an intense one. If it wasn't The Program, probably Remember the Titans, if I had to guess. So.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite sports movie overall? Or it might be the same, but
I'm a big fan of Major League.
Yeah,
always cracks me up. It's a baseball movie, but
but that's a good one.
It's a good one.
Some of the best ones are the baseball ones.
They are.
The Natural, Major League.
The Natural was always a really good one. So.
Field of Dreams. You put on baseball. Baseball tends to make a little, get a little better on their, movies. Okay. You have a favorite movie quote?
Probably from Any Given Sunday, which is another football movie. But he makes a speech before their last game at the end of the movie that talks about football's a game of inches, and he wants to be. I'm paraphrasing, but he wants to be surrounded by guys that are willing to fight and scratch and die for that inch, and that's who I want to surround myself with. Is every little piece, every little detail matters, and want to be around people that are willing to fight for those.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, so I already talked about that because I already talked about your own kids because I'd made my note for that. All right, tell me, I got to ask this: how hard is it to have a unicorn for a mascot?
Hey, man, we're one of one. We're one of one, so it's awesome. There was a deal on TikTok or something that came out. They rated the top mascots in the state or the country or something. Then we came out as number one, and they went, and that thing
did it really?
Went
that's
viral
cool.
As a unicorn. So, and our sister school is now the Dragons. So now our game next year, they're already talking about the mythical matchup, and they're trying to find names for that thing. So. It's obviously unique, and it's one that people never forget. So it's kind of nice, you don't have to compete with any other, tigers or lions or.
It is unique.
We are the only ones, and we are one of one. So
I did watch a horror movie a few months ago about a unicorn. And it was like killing people. So
see, all right, I need to.
So they can be violent.
Steal some clips from that.
I can't remember. It had some good actors in. Oh, the guy that played in Ant-Man, the Marvel's Ant-Man. He was the main character in it. So I thought, hey,
Rudd.
this is...
Rudd's the last name?
Yeah, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And then it had the girl from that Netflix thing with the Addams Family. She played the black,
yes.
whatever her name was.
But
it had the two of them, and I thought, oh, this is going to be really good.
Unicorn.
And the unicorn was like killing. They hurt the baby unicorn, and so the parents were like killing people. And I was like, it was a horror movie with them. So I was like, that's new.
Maybe we'll have a team movie night next year before our first game. Show that one.
All right. Well, Coach, man, that's all the questions I had. I really appreciate you taking the time and to visit with me, and I'm man, it's been awesome to kind of see the success you've had here just so far in just those 2 years here. Look forward to seeing a lot more.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk with you today. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully we have some continued success. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, that gives me one more team to be keeping up with, so I'm excited about keeping up with you guys. All right. Well, thanks for joining Coach Mulder and I here today in New Braunfels, and I hope you enjoyed learning a little more about him and his program. Hope you can join me next week wherever the road takes me. As always, if you are lost in Texas, just look for the lights, and we will close it out with Granger Smith again.
I wear that red and white on a Friday night when my hometown takes the field. I say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, try to be the best man. That's how I feel. No matter where my heart runs, I remember where I came from. Still got that raised up right, that small town